Thank you for tuning into Inflection's Crowdsource Recap. This session was all about how to build authentic relationships with your students by moving from control to connection. Keep watching for key insights presented by Inflection's executive coach, Mike Garling, and project manager, Alexa Ashiel.
Dr. Unnati Jain is a youth behavior specialist, and her thing is transforming parent-teen relationships. And in her TED Talk, she talks about the moving from control to connection and some kind of 5 points in that. What I want to do is just do a little summary of each of those because I don't know that everybody's seen the video, and highlight a couple of things she has to say. And then I want to provide a couple of examples of how that might play out within the school environment. Creating space for healthy conversations. And when we do that, it allows communication where individuals feel safe to express their thoughts and emotions without fear or judgment or reprisal. So when we think about it in the school setting, when students feel safe to express their thoughts, emotions without fear of judgment, it helps diffuse tension, reduces defiance, and promotes mutual understanding. She has a couple of a great quote here. It's that power and choice are two sides of the same coin. When you have power, you don't seek choice. When you have choice, you don't seek power. And when I was looking at this particular example, I was thinking of some students several years ago when I was working with supporting work in one of the middle schools, and we were kind of digging deep into students' background, learning their name, face, and story. And there were some students who were basically not only were coming to school every day and trying to maintain what they needed to do in school, but they're also helping raise siblings, and they had those responsibilities that were huge. The teachers in the school, I was really, I just have to say, very, very impressed with the way they took that into consideration, knew the student situation, gave them all kinds of flexibility, because the bottom line, they want them there, be there at school and be able to be successful. And punishing them for something that is a situation that is a lot to control is not going to accomplish that. Teens compare themselves to everything they encounter, social media, friends, peers, parents. And when we judge or compare a child, we basically imply that they've got to be perfect to be loved and accepted. Dr. Jain, basically contends that comparison is the root of low self-esteem, low self-worth, depression, and anxiety. So shifting this over to a school setting, create a safe space for mistakes. Really normalizing mistakes as part of the learning process removes the judgment associated with errors. Learning is, we learn through mistakes. Focusing on growth and progress over perfection. What we often perceive as disrespect may simply be a difference in communication styles or unmet emotional needs, and reframing these moments can really reduce conflict and better understanding. So in the school setting, as adults, two things. We need to model respectful behavior as adults and address disrespectful behavior privately. When we're going to correct or have a conversation with a kid, it needs to be not in front of their peers, but in a private space. Follow through on promises, and that builds trust and reliability. When we tell kids we're going to show up for them and then prioritize something else, we communicate that they're less important, and we lose that credibility. So when we follow through, we build trust and reliability. And again, finally, shifting to a school setting, when teachers, administrators, and students are consistent in their words and actions, it enhances communication, mutual respect, a sense of reliability. Quick one on administrative follow through on policies. A school administration is promising to address bullying and complaints within a certain time frame. When those events happen, it's crucial that the administration show that it's trustworthy by acting on that follow through. Failing to on such a promise really will erode the trust and make students feel unsafe or unheard.
What we found was a success, but also as a challenge in rituals and routines is consistency. And so, like, it's a challenge in the beginning to be consistent, whether you're a teacher, superintendent, principal, because as a member of our group mentioned, it's kind of like you have to control it. Like, you have to say, like, nope, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing until everybody understands which direction we're going in culturally as a school, so that then we're later to be able to connect, because everybody's in flow, everybody's moving forward.
Okay, thanks. Hey, well, it was pretty easy in our room. My two of the folks in the room deferred to one other person in our room. She talked about what's important now,
Oh.
and focus on the now. What's the important thing? What's the important thing we're doing? And if we are implementing these practices to move from control to connection within the school, how do we observe to see if they're really happening? They're happening every classroom, every day, every period. And learning walks are a way to focus on that. That learning walks determine effectiveness of practices being implemented, examine best practices across all classrooms in a school or district, and then illuminate successes and challenges, and revealing high impact opportunities to improve instruction. And one of the things, and I will just say this, that I really think that we need to push on these kinds of practice of learning walks. I don't know that folks always get into classrooms enough, and then getting into classrooms with a clear focus on why they're there, but also creating that environment of trust where we come in to observe a classroom, regardless of how you're structuring it, and people understand this is not an evaluation. This is us learning together.
When you're doing the learning walk as the observer, to go in focused on what is being asked of you to observe, and not focus on what might be happening in the corner of the classroom, because that might be drawing your attention or something else might be bubbling up. But if you try to give feedback on something else as opposed to what the person asked you to provide them feedback on, you're breaking that trust, and therefore it's going to be even more difficult to connect.
Our star on this one, coming in as new community school coordinator, and actually trying to implement walkthroughs and observations based on people who are part of community schools who are not necessarily educators. They have a very tight list of the kinds of things they're specifically trying to look for at all spaces within the school, not just classrooms. And the important thing is that they give immediate feedback after a visit, and it's immediate and it's positive and not at all evaluative. So you're building that trust.
Thanks for watching. For more resources on relationship building, feel free to visit portico.inflection.org. And be sure to keep an eye out for our next crowdsource.